What is up, YouTube? It's your boy, The Walk 71, replaced that with a 4, and I'm here with another video for you all. My WWE Hell in a Cell 2019 review for you all. What was that ending, my G? Oh my god, what was that fucking ending? Oh my god, what did... You know what? We'll get to that when we get to it, bro. Because I got a lot to say about that last Hell in a Cell match and whatever. It's so much going into this show that was just so bad because like before the show even like premiered or premiered live, we only had like 3 matches announced, and then randomly a 4th match got announced like on after SmackDown went off the air. Which, by the way, fuck Fox for what they did to my nigga Kofi. But this show going in only had like 4 matches, and then during the pre-show they just randomly announced a bunch of matches with no build to them whatsoever. They was just like, oh, you get Chad Gable and Baron Corbin. Oh, you get an Italian Lacey Evans match, as if we haven't seen that match like 70 million times this year. What else random match did we get on this card? We got fucking Randy Orton and Mustafa Ali, but that match was actually kind of cool. We got a women's tag team match announced out of nowhere, a random match between the OC and the Viking Raiders, Experience Machine. Jesus Christ, let's get this shit over with. I'm ready to move on with my life. So on the pre-show, we had our 60th Natalya and Lacey Evans match. Didn't really care for it. All I can tell you is that Natalya wins with the sharpshooter, hits Lacey Evans in the face as a callback to their match on Raw. I think it was last Monday on the season premiere, or whenever the fuck it was. And apparently it doesn't stop, because then during the pay-per-view they announced that they're going to have another match tonight on Monday Night Raw, because I'm recording this on Monday because I was like just furious last night, and I really couldn't express my anger the way I could because my roommate was in the room, and if he heard me just yelling at this stupid shit, I don't know, maybe I'll show him what the fuck I go through every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and sometimes Sundays, and then he'll understand why I fucking hate the shit that I see sometimes. So yes, we're getting another match between Natalya and Lacey Evans, but this time has a stipulation. It is a fucking last woman standing match. Don't give a shit. Okay, so then we open up the pay-per-view, which was with what I thought was my match of the night, which was the first of the 2 Hell in a Cell matches for the Raw Women's Championship. Sasha Banks is challenging Becky Lynch, the man, for the Raw Women's Championship inside of the Red Hell in a Cell match. Now, the build-up for this match has actually been pretty interesting, aside from the little hiccups where they've just made random tag team matches between all 4 of the 4 horsewomen in order to make 2 women's title matches for no reason. Like, Becky and Charlotte should not be teaming together. They've been beefing since last August of last year. They have not been cool since then. Why are they all of a sudden teaming together and they're just cool with each other? Like, no, nigga, that's not how that shit works. But anyways, we get the match. Before the cage is even lowered down, Sasha Banks attacks Becky Lynch, hits her with a suplex onto the ramp. Then eventually Becky Lynch starts to get offense in, throws Sasha Banks into a barricade. They lowered the cell while that was all going on, so the referee just opened up the door. They got into it, and then eventually the match started. They went at it. Like, this was a real Hell in a Cell match. Like, they were actually using the Hell in a Cell as a weapon, and they used it to be creative for different things. I'm not going to go in order with everything that happens. I'll just talk about what I liked about the match. So there was a ton of stuff Sasha did. She did like 3 different Meteoras, and I know her knees have to hurt. She did one Meteora on Becky Lynch to a ladder that was on the outside, and it was like across the, it was leaned across on a cage. Boom, hit Becky with one of those. She had Becky sitting on a chair, hit her with another Meteora on the chair for a near fall. She hit another meteor through a table on Becky Lynch that she set up earlier. Like, the table was in the match, and then the crowd chanted for the table, and then Becky Lynch set up the table. She put it through that table. Becky Lynch wasn't no bitch, though. She got her licks in, too. She hit a Beck-sploder on the actual cage wall. I thought that was pretty cool. What else happened? She, the chair was used in this match, you know, kind of a callback to when Sasha Banks had turned heel and she attacked Becky Lynch and started wailing on her with the chair. So that was in there. Let me think, what else? There was a point where they just threw each other into the cage, hitting each other with kendo sticks. Then we got to a part where Sasha took a chair and she took the legs of the chair and she put it across the cage, like kind of like through the holes of the cage, and it was just sitting there. And I thought, oh, what are they going to do with that? Then they also put 2 kendo sticks in between the cage, which I thought was interesting. Then Becky Lynch finished it by putting a chair on top of the sticks and putting another one in front of it. So basically it was a floating chair. And I'm like, oh, let's see what they're going to do with that. So basically they put... Becky put Sasha on the chair, went to the was it the top rope? She jumped high, hit a drop kick on the Sasha Banks on the chair. It was cool, but I felt like you could have done something even cooler. Like she could have like powerbombed Sasha Banks on the chair, but then she really would have fucked Sasha Banks up. Then eventually, like I mentioned, with the chair being on the cage wall, Becky Lynch got thrown into it. We get towards the end of the match, Sasha Banks is setting up chairs, and usually when a heel sets up something, they usually get put through it, and that's exactly what happened. She put up a giant pile of chairs. She tried to do something before Becky Lynch reversed it and hit a Bexploder off of the, I believe, the second rope onto the chairs, puts her in the disarmor, and Sasha Banks eventually tries to fight it. She tries to pull Becky's hair. What I thought she was going to do was hit her with the chair, but no, she just taps out, and I thought that was pretty stupid. Like, Sasha Banks, I would think that her turning heel would have been a reset of her character, and it would have gave her an opportunity to really have a legit women's title reign. But nah, we're just going to keep doing this Becky Lynch stuff. And I don't hate Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch, I think she's cool. I feel like her best time as this new man character was in SmackDown when she was the SmackDown Women's Champion, and she was taking out Charlotte, and she just did not give a fuck. She talked shit to Edge. She talked shit to everybody. But now this like face version of her is like, it's cool at points, but it's just like, man. And then Sasha Banks tapped out. I really would prefer for her to win the title, but it is what it is. Then after that, they zoomed in on Sasha's face, and she started crying, as she usually does for everything, but it is what it is. Becky Lynch retained. My match of the night, personally. After that, we got a tornado tag team match between Roman Reigns and a brand new face, Daniel Bryan, which I don't know how I feel about that, versus Eric Rowan and Luke Harper, the Bludgeon Brothers. Okay, so this match was essentially both teams just killing each other. It was a tornado tag team match that somehow turned into a no DQ because they started hitting each other with like barricades and shit there. They was wild in this match. Like for this match in general, I can't really I can only remember the stuff that I cared about. Like there was stuff in this match. Like Daniel Bryan putting Eric Rowan in a label lock and Eric Rowan actually trying to sell his shoulder. We had another part in the match where Luke Harper went for a suicide dive, but he almost killed himself because he almost went head first into the fucking table. Like, bro, we got to stop trying to kill each other for the sake of wrestling, bro. Like, I hate that. That's like one thing I cannot stand in wrestling is when wrestlers intentionally are trying to kill themselves for a reaction. Like, you don't have to do that. You really do not have to intentionally almost kill yourself for a crowd reaction. Just wrestle, do all types of crazy stuff. I just don't like when people almost kill themselves. Get to a point in the match, Bludgeon Brothers are just destroying people. By people, I mean Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns. There's a point in the match where Roman Reigns just gets murdered with a barricade from Eric Rowan, and he just like goes over the barricade. Like, they took a piece of it and just smacked him with it. I thought that's, like, funny because I've never seen somebody just take a barricade piece and just, bam, hit somebody in the face with it. So that was interesting. Daniel Bryan and Daniel Bryan and Luke Harper had an exchange after Roman Reigns speared Eric Rowan through a table and then started holding his knee. So I really hope Roman Reigns is not hurt. But then we had a really good exchange between Daniel Bryan and Luke Harper. I would really like to see a match between them on like SmackDown, but like give them like 15 minutes because there was Michinoku drivers, Daniel Bryan getting out of shit, kicking the shit out of Luke Harper. We get to the end of the match, essentially. Eric Rowan is selling death. Luke Harper tries to go for something. He tries to go for like a, I guess you could say a back suplex, a reverse suplex kind of. And then eventually Daniel Bryan and what's his face? Roman Reigns goes for a bunch of like moves onto each other, which I thought was pretty cool. Like Daniel Bryan went for the his drop kick in the corner, and then Harper just like stands tall. Bryan takes Harper to the top for her Hurricanrana, but then Harper counters into a powerbomb for a near fall. Then Harper goes for a dragon suplex twice, but then eventually Bryan counters, I believe, one of them. Roman Reigns comes out of nowhere, hits a Superman punch on Harper. Bryan hits a running knee, and then Roman Reigns hits a spear for the win. Now, like I said, this was another good match with the wrong ending, because why have you been building Eric Rowan and then eventually Luke Harper just to have them lose to Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan? Because, you know, the whole who's trying to kill Roman Reigns storyline that had potential of being great. We got a good match out of it between Roman Reigns and Buddy Murphy, who hasn't been seen since. Had a good match between Daniel Bryan and Buddy Murphy. And Buddy Murphy beat Daniel Bryan, and he was never seen again. I'm trying to see what else. Yeah, I just didn't like the fact that they just had them beat them after just building I'm just going to call them the Bludgeon Brothers. Fuck it. Building up the Bludgeon Brothers and having them essentially look so strong. Eric Rowan has been cutting surprisingly good promos on TV just to have them lose to Roman and Daniel. I guess they're just trying to build up Roman to face Brock for the 60th time at WrestleMania. I don't know what they're doing. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. It is what it fucking is. After that, we got a match that was literally made. I don't even remember when this match was made. It was either on the pre-show or the pay-per-view. We got Randy Orton versus Ali. Fun match. It would probably fit better on SmackDown than it does a pay-per-view. It started off basically them going at it, or at least trying to go at it, before Randy Orton just starts wilding on Mustafa Ali, working on the ribs, hits his back suplex on the table. He puts him in some type of weird hold. He throws him into a barricade. Mustafa Ali has a welt on his abdomen that looks crazy. So basically Orton is just on offense. It was really 80-20 at one point, but eventually Mustafa Ali got out of it, got some offense in, hit the face buster, I guess you would call it. What's the technical term of it? But where he rolls through the ropes and then hits I guess it's a face buster. Hits that for a near fall, tornado GT from the top. Hits a suicide dive that sends Randy Orton over the announce table. Mustafa Ali misses with the 450 before Randy Orton got back on the offense. Goes for his second rope draping DDT. After that, Randy Orton sets up for the RKO. He goes for it, but Mustafa Ali hits an incredible counter that I don't think I've ever seen before, where he was going to get hit with the RKO, but instead he countered it into a handstand, got out of it, kicked Randy Orton in the face, tried to go for his rolling I'm getting it confused with the Bronco Buster, but it's also considered a Bronco Buster because of I believe X-Pac, but we just call it the Face Buster. Tried to go for the Face Buster again, but Randy Orton catches his ass with an RKO out of nowhere. 1, 2, 3. Randy Orton wins the match, builds momentum for whatever else WWE is trying to do with him. After that, we get the WWE Women's Tag Team title match. Asuka and Kairi Sane, the Kabuki Warriors, still kind of racist to me, versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. This match was meh, but I like what they did with Asuka and Kairi Sane. The match started instantly with the Kabuki Warriors wanting smoke. They instantly took out Alexa Bliss. They were working on Nikki Cross. They were beating the shit out of her. They was working her. It wasn't until Alexa Bliss got in the match and then eventually got offense on Asuka before Asuka just put her ass on an ankle lock twice. Then eventually Nikki Cross got the hot tag. They just tried to do stuff, but the Kabuki Warriors was they were wrestling very heelish. And the reason I noticed one part was Asuka was going for her kicks to the chest, but then the crowd started getting into it. Then she stopped, and then she just started doing this little thing they do. I think it's pretty cool, where they just start kicking the wrestler in the face repeatedly with speed. I thought that was pretty cool. We get to the end of the match. Kairi Sane tries to go for the insane elbow onto Nikki Cross. She kicks her in the elbow. Then eventually she gets Asuka comes back in. She drags Kairi Sane to the corner, gets the tag. Kairi Sane tries to take out Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss hits like a cannonball off the apron, takes out Kairi Sane. After that, Asuka does the unthinkable, and she spits the mist onto Nikki Cross in the face. Allows it to distract her. Wins the match. The new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Asuka and Kairi Sane. The Kabuki Warriors are finally Women's Tag Team Champs. They need a new theme song, though, because I'm tired of them combining their theme songs to make one giant mashup of a theme song. It used to be cool, rated RKO, but it's not cool now. But yeah, I think this is gonna be like leading towards a heel turn between this team, and I'm fine with that. Honestly, I need a more aggressive Asuka on the main roster because WWE has treated Asuka like absolute dog shit. Like, she beat Becky Lynch clean, and then after that, she was nowhere to be found. I thought that's like fucked up that they did that to her, but it is what it is. She used the Miz. She kind of looked like her, Japan persona, kind of with the mist just like all down her like tongue and like just mouth, like she's spitting out blood, but it's green. So she's like Reptile. So yeah, they got the new titles. Hopefully, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross don't win that shit back, because you know how WWE is. So after that, another match that was just randomly announced. We had the OC versus the Viking Raiders, who've beaten the OC 5 times already. So they pretty much won the feud, if anything, and a mystery opponent. I thought, I know who it's going to be. It's going to be fucking Cedric Alexander, because he's been facing AJ for the past month, and WWE likes to do predictable shit. But no, they surprised me, but also let me down at the same time, because it's none other than Braun Strowman. Yes, Braun Strowman, the same guy that lost clean to Seth Rollins at last month's pay-per-view Clash of Champions. A fucking loser. Anyways, we get to the match itself. Didn't really care for it. And I love AJ Styles, but I didn't care for it. The OC were like dominating a lot of the time. We get hot tags, we get moves, we get Ivar hitting his cartwheel. They both hit suicide dives. Then eventually Braun Strowman is like working on AJ Styles, and I guess he was about to go for the running power bomb before the OC just jumped Braun Strowman, and then eventually it led to all the teams taking each other out between the OC and the Viking Raiders. AJ and Braun going at it. AJ goes for a couple of forearms to the face. He tries to go for the phenomenal forearm. Braun Strowman punches him in the face. And then AJ Styles acts like he just got knocked the fuck out. Where's Smokey when you need him? Didn't really care for it. I truly just don't care. Before we get to the next match, there was a segment on the pay-per-view where the Street Profits were hyping up Raw, and they were talking about a draft showcase, which I don't know what the hell that means. Eventually, Carmella and R-Truth, the WWE 24/7 champion, Carmella, randomly just show up. Tamina Snuka out of nowhere just pins Carmella, wins it. She punches Tyler Breeze in the face, and then she starts running. Okay, whatever. So after that, we got Chad Gable. Oh my fucking god. Chad Gable versus King Corbin, the man who got called an STD by The Rock. Didn't care for this match, and what pisses me off about this shit is that like these short jokes for Chad Gable, it's like WWE pays motherfuckers to come up with this shit. You paid somebody, I'm assuming not 6 figures. I don't think they got money now. They just got that $1 billion Fox deal. We'll just say low 6 figures. They pay motherfuckers low 6 figures to come up with short jokes for Chad Gable. And basically, Baron Corbin kept talking about how short he was, and then he eventually renamed him as Shorty Gable. The match starts. Chad Gable goes in with the little Tyler Bate rolling kick to the face, tries to go for offense. Eventually, Baron Corbin counters. He does his stuff, hits a spine buster, deep 6 for a near fall. Tries to go for the end of days before Chad Gable reverses it. We get a chaos theory for a near fall from Chad Gable. Then eventually leads to a moonsault from Chad Gable. Then eventually he hits the ankle lock, and was it ankle lock? I'm trying to make sure. No, Corbin got out of it. Then eventually Chad Gable won with a roll up pin. Oh damn, that was my keyboard, my fault. So yeah, this match is whatever. I guess Chad Gable was now known as Shorty Gable. I thought it was a rumor. Like, I heard about this when I was listening to the Solid Monster podcast. But I didn't think it was real. It's like one of them things you hear. Like, that time when they said Kalisto was going to debut on the main roster as a gay hairdresser. And I was like, what the fuck? But it never happened. He just debuted as Kalisto. So, I guess he's Shorty Gable now. I think the WWE Fox Twitter page called him Shorty Gable. An interview they did backstage, they called him Shorty Gable. So, motherfuckers get paid to write this shit. What the fuck? The crowd was like not interested at all in this match. They were like silent as fuck until like the ending of it. But it is what it is. After that, we got the SmackDown Women's Title match: Charlotte Flair versus Bayley. Match was randomly made because Charlotte made Bayley tap out on the Fox SmackDown. Do you really want me to go on about this match that we've seen already? I didn't think so. We get a point in the match where Bayley tries to do a heel tactic. She tries to roll up Charlotte, but putting her feet on the ropes. But somehow the referee saw that, but didn't manage to see Nikki Cross get missed in her face and didn't get like a disqualification win. She saw that. Eventually, Charlotte hits a big boot, puts her in the figure eight. Bayley taps out. Charlotte is now a fucking goddamn 10-time women's champion, as if we need another fucking Charlotte ring. Like, y'all know y'all have other women on the roster other than the 4 horsewomen. Y'all have Ember Moon, which I've made look like a complete loser. You got Carmella. Shit, y'all really don't even got nobody that's like good or that's like credible at this point if you're not a 4 horsewoman or Alexa Bliss. Oh my fucking god. What the... Charlotte, fucking 10-time women's champion. It doesn't mean anything. The title reign probably won't mean shit, just like the rest of her 20 fucking title reigns, but it is what it is. Anyways, we get to the next match. Jesus. We get into the part where I'm finna just rant my ass off because this shit pissed me the fuck off. Alright. So we had a Hell in a Cell match for the WWE Universal title. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt versus the champion Seth Rollins. The Fiend's entrance was really epic. My fault. Somebody texted me. The fuck, bitch? I'm still in school. My fault. We had the Hell in a Cell match. The Fiend had his entrance. They decided to add red lights to his entrance, and it made it look even more clean. Still has the head lantern, which is in WWE 2K20. That's gonna be fun to use. So Rollins comes out. The match starts, but the entire match has a red lighting to it as to kind of add to the Fiend's character and show that he has control over it. It's kind of what they used to do with Sin Cara, but it didn't work. Sin Cara was just a mass luchador, and they just gave him some crazy-ass lighting. But at least for the Fiend, it works. So the story of this match they were trying to tell is that the Fiend is an abomination. He is not human. So whatever you do to him, it's not going to work. He's not going to sell it. And that's exactly what happened. Seth tried to hit him with a kendo stick. It didn't work. He tried to go for all types of stuff. It didn't work. Bray eventually just started getting offense on him. He was like beating the shit out of Seth. It didn't really take long before Seth hit the Fiend with the steel steps, and that just like took him out. Out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, the Fiend just pulls out a mallet. A giant ass mallet for no reason at all. He uses it to impale Seth into the cage. Didn't ever hit Seth with it, but instead got curb stomped onto the mallet. Oh my god, that shit was hilarious. So after that, we get to a point in the match where Seth just starts wilding on the Bray. He hits him with like a bunch of curb stomps. The Fiend kicks out at one because the story of the match is that Seth has to kill the Fiend because that's what the Fiend has been trying to do to Seth. He's been trying to kill this nigga. And now Seth Rollins has to try to kill the Fiend. So that's what he did. He went for curb stomps. Fiend kicks out. Goes for a pedigree and a curb stomp. Fiend kicks out. So instead, he just says, fuck it. We going to the Attitude Era. Went, hits the Fiend in the head with a steel chair. And I had to double take. Like, wait, what? That really happened? Hits him in the face with a steel chair. And after that, he does a concerto, but he doesn't hit him with the chair. He puts the chair over his face, gets a ladder, hits him in the face with a ladder. Nigga's dead, right? No. Puts the ladder on top of his face, gets a toolbox, and just starts hitting him in the face with a toolbox. And then he goes back into the ring, outside the ring, grabs a fucking sledgehammer, and the referee's like, no, this is not you. You don't do this. Like, shut the fuck up, bro. This is a fucking Hell in a Cell match. It's supposed to be no disqualification. Or at least that's what I thought. He hits the Fiend with the sledgehammer, and the referee calls the match off. What? How is that possible? How in the fuck do you call off a Hell in a Cell match that is no disqualification? Mick Foley literally got thrown off the top of the Hell in a Cell. He got thrown through the top of the Hell in a Cell. Mick Foley died. His teeth was lodged in his nose. His shoulder was dislocated. And all other injuries that happened. And the match still continued. Let me see. What else happened? What else crazy happened in the Hell in a Cell match? That might be the craziest one because WWE never stops talking about it. So they can't hide from that. And you're telling me, a wrestling fan that studies this shit, that watches this shit, that Seth Rollins hitting the Fiend with a sledgehammer to the face is an automatic disqualification. According to the WWE website, it was a match stoppage. They did the same shit last year, and that shit pissed me off. Between Braun and Roman, they ended it because Brock decided to show up, rip the cage door off, and attack them. What? No, it's a fuck. Oh my God. It's a disqualification to a no disqualification match. How do you do that? How do you do that? How is that possible? Y'all have to make this make sense. What? The fans, of course, booed. We got AEW chants, refund chants. After that, Seth looks at the Fiend. They try to put the Fiend on a stretcher before the Fiend just decides to get back up. He attacks Seth. He does the mandible claw. They start chanting, restart the match. He rips the padding off the floor, does the Sister Abigail onto the concrete. He does the mandible claw again, but this time Seth Rollins is bleeding out of the mouth. Cool visual, but it means absolutely nothing because you managed to do what nobody wanted, and that was for the Fiend to not win the Universal title. And honestly, the ending of this match, I would have been fine with it if it wasn't a Hell in a Cell match. If this was just a regular one-on-one match and that happened, I would have been fine with it because it shows that Seth was willing to do whatever it took to beat the Fiend, and it still didn't kill him. Then that could set up towards a bigger match, like a Hell in a Cell match. Like this, whatever. I'm thinking too much into it when the writers don't even think too much into this shit. I thought Super Showdown was the worst show, and a lot of you motherfuckers be like, oh, this is the worst pay-per-view of all time. Y'all literally say every pay-per-view is the worst pay-per-view of all time if it's not the result you wanted. But this is the one time that the result should have been what we wanted because it's the only thing in WWE that people genuinely fuck with, and that's the Fiend. And if you didn't want the Fiend to win the title, why would you put him in a title match if you weren't going to have him win when everybody wants him to win? Then I look online, I read that this is all Vince McMahon's idea, which of course it is. And this is why he does not need to be running WWE. Because if he thought that this worked and then he laughed when he saw the fans upset, he's going to be real SOL when motherfuckers stop coming to WWE and they're watching AEW and they're going to the AEW shows, my nigga. But it is what it is, man. I don't fucking care at this point. This show was fucking stupid. If you want the best description of this pay-per-view, it was like a Hot Pocket that was cold in the middle and then somehow became cold at the end. That's what that was. How do you... How do you end a no disqualification match and have a disqualification and a ref stoppage for the second pay-per-view in a row? I can't. I can't. Best pro wrestling in the world, according to Seth Rollins. Anyways, like, comment, favorite, subscribe. Do what you do to support me. Follow me on all my social media links down in the description below. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I'm not putting my Snapchat on. What else do I have? I have a Twitch. I'm trying to get back in my Twitch bag, but you know, college kind of fucked everything up, but it is what it is. Anyway, guys, I'm out. Thanks for watching. Peace.